Good afternoon, guys. Now let's redo B, shall we? B B title is When Home Turns Against Us. The human story beneath America's elder care crisis. Okay, that's what I'm discussing today for B. So let's get the show on the road. When home turns against us, the human story beneath America's elder care crisis. The crisis rarely begins with a headline. It begins with a house. A house that once held decades of memories, birthday candles, holiday dinners, the quiet routines of ordinary life slowly becomes a place of risk. The stairs grow steeper. The bathroom grows smaller. The furnace grows louder. And the older adult who has lived there for 40 or 50 years begins to shrink their world to the rooms they can still navigate safely. Families families notice the changes in fragments. A mother stops going upstairs. A father avoids the basement. A grandmother who once pruned her rose bushes, now watches them from the window. The home is still familiar, still beloved, but it is no longer easy. And then one day, it is no longer safe. This is where the American elder crisis begins, not in policy memos or budget projections, but in the quiet erosion of safety inside the very place older adults most want to remain. The squeeze tightens long before anyone names it. The financial pressure builds slowly, almost politely. A property tax bill raises insurance premiums jump. The cost of heating an old home spikes. A roof repair becomes unavoidable. None of these expenses alone feels catastrophic, but together they form a steady, unrelenting squeeze on older adults living on fixed incomes. Families try to help. They pay a bill here, a contractor there. They rearrange work schedules to meet repair crews. They tell themselves it's temporary. But aging homes do not wait for convenient moments to fall or to fail. They fail when they fail. And the bills arrive whether the family is ready or not. Then the care needs escalate. At first, it's Small things, medication reminders, rides to appointments, help with groceries. But aging rarely moves in straight lines. Needs accumulate. A fall changes everything. A hospitalization accelerates decline. A moment of confusion reveals a deeper cognitive shift. Families look for help only to discover that home care agencies are understaffed, overextended, and often unable to provide the hours needed. The workforce has thinned, wages remain low, turnover is consistent, and the cost $30 to $40 an hour is far beyond what most older adults can afford. So families step in. They become the workforce. The system assumes will always be there. They manage medications, bills, meals, crises. They become care coordinators, advocates, chauffeurs, and safety nets. They do this while working full-time jobs, raising children, and trying to maintain their own health. This is not informal care. It is unpaid labor, propping up a system that has never been built to withstand the demographic reality now unfolding. The moment of crisis is always sudden. A fall on the stairs, a broken hip, a furnace failure in January, a wandering episode in the middle of the night. Suddenly, the home that symbolizes independence becomes the reason someone can no longer live independently at all. Families look for alternatives, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, only to find wait lists, closures, and prices that defy logic. Facilities are shutting down because they cannot staff adequately. The ones that remain open are full, expensive, or both. The system offers no middle ground. It offers crisis or nothing. The emotional toll is the part we talk about least. Give me 1 second, guys. These are stuck, so give me 1 minute. We talk about the cost, inflation, workforce shortages, but the human toll is quieter and harder to quantify. It is the daughter who sleeps with her phone on loud every night. It is the son who uses his vacation days to manage crises instead of rest. It's the older adult who stops opening the mail because the bills feel like accusations. It is the family that knows the home is no longer safe but cannot afford the alternative. It is the emotional architecture of the elder care crisis, invisible, unaccounted, but everywhere. The policy failures beneath the crisis are not accidental. The crisis is not the result of poor planning or individual missteps. It is the result of decades of policy choices that treated long term care as a private matter, housing as a separate housing as separate from health care, or health and family caregiving as an infinite resource. We build a system that does not cover long term care for most older adults, does not fund home modifications that prevent injury, does not pay home care workers enough to stay, does not regulate insurance markets that punish older homeowners, does not invest in accessible senior housing, does not integrate housing safely into clinical care. The result is predictable. Families are absorbing the cost of policy neglect. The crisis is here, and it is reshaping American adulthood. The first baby boomers are turning 80. Disability rates are rising. Dementia is becoming more common. Families are smaller. Caregivers are older. Housing is more expensive. The workforce is shrinking. Caregiving is no longer a side responsibility. It is becoming one of the defining roles of middle adulthood. And without systematic reform, the burden will continue shifting onto families quietly, relentlessly, and unfairly. We need a new national story about aging. Aging in place should be an option, not a mandate. It should be supported, not assumed. And it should not require families to bankrupt themselves or sacrifice their own health to keep someone safe. We need accessible, affordable senior housing, property tax protections for older adults, Medicaid coverage for home modifications and safety upgrades, a stable, well paid home care workforce, integrated housing and care assessments, real alternatives to unsafe aging in place. Because the real measure of dignity is not someone where someone lives, it's whether they are supported as their needs evolve. The crisis is deepening. The question is whether we will keep depending, uh, whether we will keep pretending it isn't. Okay, guys, that is your B for now. I will see everybody shortly. For C, give me a little bit for a break, please, and I'll be back on for C shortly. For now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.